Hey everybody, welcome to Twin Talk, a video discussion show where twin brothers Chris and Kevin drink and draw. We're talking about comic books, movies, and all things pop culture. We are your hosts, Chris Hart, Kevin Hart, and today we're going to be talking about Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Episode 2. Episode 2, entitled The Star-Spangled Man. I loved this intro with Wyatt Russell, which I just found out. I don't know how I never connected the dots, that Wyatt Russell is Kurt Russell's son, another member of the MCU. He's
Ego, the living planet.
Yeah, Peter Quill's dad, Star-Lord's dad, the giant planet. But anyways, he does a great job selling this whole, like, American soldier. He's at the football game. He has a job to do, and he's kind of like, even he's carrying the weight of, like, the legacy that is Captain America. I just love how the new suit is, like, in a garment bag, like, on a locker. I don't know if they're going to make him an anti-hero in this series, but so far, he is such a likable character. I love his acting. I love his ideals so far, although until the end of the episode, he kind of has like a twist, it seems, and I don't know where they're going to go with it, but so far, I'm all on board of the ride.
He's practicing his lines at his old high school, which is cool to me. He's like, good morning. Good morning, America. You know, like, it's just cool to me that he's got to take on this persona of such a larger-than-life icon. Whoa.
Twin Talk, bro.
Owe me a drink, bro. You owe me a drink. I am loving this show, and it's only episode 2. The first episode felt very uneventful.
Yeah, it definitely picked up the pace.
It was very like filler, and I was a little disappointed because I felt like these Disney Plus Marvel shows might just be a bunch of filler TV to get to the next big.
It's like, here's the mark, and
movie.
they're just missing because it's television, and I didn't want it to be that way. And episode 2 of this series picked up for me in a big way. I loved that whole contrast of like this, almost like a pretender, right? Mm-hmm. I love that shot of Bucky, like he's in his like lone apartment and he's looking
with
at
no
this
furniture
guy.
whatsoever.
Like completely unfurnished. But like he's looking at this guy like, oh, like he's been Steve's best friend for how many years? Mm-hmm. His brother. And then we have the new age version of that in Sam Wilson, and they're kind of going back and forth. They finally meet about like, oh, why did you give up the shield? Like, and they're kind of like dealing with this legacy that Steve left of like what is right, what's, you know, how do you honor his legacy really? Because he's not dead, he's older now, and I really hope that we see a cameo of Chris Evans as old Captain America by the end of this 6-episode series. And not only that, but like the whole relevant aspect of like the politics and societal topics that are being discussed in this episode between, you know, African Americans. I loved that line about like how Marvel kind of like typecast, you know, using really racism.
Not just Marvel, DC, any comic books at that time.
Yeah. Back in the day, like they'd be like, oh, Black Panther, Black Lightning, all that. Just adding black in front of a black character for the sake of their skin color. And I loved Anthony Mackie's, you know, he's like, oh, do I call you black kid? You know, and it was just so aware, you know,
very self-aware. You could see interviews of Stan Lee. He even like regrets saying, oh, I hated that I said black in front of it because I feel like it took away from the character. But they were trying to at least push. You think about the time, that was the 60s and the 70s. Like
they were trying to do the right thing.
They were trying to do the right thing. And obviously, like in hindsight, it doesn't seem like it. But they were trying to further the genre and move society in a future forward-thinking matter. And now
make like a role model, an icon for that.
And they culture, did, honestly. Like they gave young African-American kids ideals to look towards. When I watched the Black Panther movie that came out in 2017, I think it was, I was just like, man, like some of these kids are gonna love this movie, and that's gonna be their Superman. Yeah, that's gonna be their Superman the movie, and they're just gonna worship that character and just be obsessed for the rest of their lives. And that's so cool. Going into the show, I do like that they address that though. It's like, oh, okay, the typecast. So it was a small little piece. We appreciated it for comic history. It was funny and cool at the same time.
But it seems to me that they're diving into that too of this character. I didn't know who it was going in, but Isaiah Bradley.
Yes.
The guy that Bucky apparently knows from back in the 50s when he used to serve with him. Or they were kind of going after the Winter Soldier.
They were going after him. Yeah. He was no good. Yeah.
We see he's got like super strength. He was experimented on trying to replicate the super soldier serum that was successful with Steve, and everyone's trying to get this formula right since the 40s. And we see he's kind of like doesn't want to do anything with society. So I'm excited to see how that.
I literally turned to you during this episode. I was just like, I was like,
I know,
oh my God.
I was like, wait,
that's the Black Captain America, because like I'm a big fan of the 2005 Young Avengers by Alan Heinberg and Jim Chung, and like part of that story is Patriot, who's like a future Captain America, pseudo Captain America. his grandfather Isaiah was like an African American Captain America that was experimented on after Steve Rogers turned into Captain America. He was like one of the ones that like actually took to the super soldier serum,
but he went unrecognized. It seems.
Yeah,
and they're delving
and obviously
that into the show.
in the comic book too. It's like the Patriot claims to have super soldier serum, but it's actually MGH, mutant growth hormone. That's a whole nother aspect of things.
Basically, like,
and I don't know if
steroids.
I don't know if they can get into that with the Marvel universe.
So I'm excited to see that aspect. I think by the end of this series, I think the toys just leaked of like the costume designs of this show, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I really hope that we get like the full-on Sam Wilson Falcon Captain America version with that incredible, gorgeous costume design. Especially with
the
like
one from Stuart Immonen.
Yep.
So good.
Especially with like the way the show seems to be diving into, and it's kind of funny too. Even like Sam Wilson and Bucky, right? Mm-hmm. Their counterparts seem to be John Walker and Lamar Hoskins. I think his name was Battlestar, which was such a funny line when he was like, "What's your name?" He was like, "Battlestar." Okay, Bucky was like, "Stop the truck!" I like cracked up.
Okay, kill him.
Yeah, like there was great humor between Bucky and Sam Wilson, and just all around like the tension between this new like pretenders of like who Captain America is and everything else. I loved that.
I loved that action sequence, by the way, when like they have the when Falcon and Winter Soldier take over the 18-wheelers that are being controlled by the Flag Smashers, and then we see that U.S. agent John Walker and his buddy Battlestar Hoskins land, and they start fighting. Like you said, it was cool because it's almost like the OGs where like these best friends of actual Captain America, Steve Rogers, are like fighting the good fight, and then you see these new guys that are like almost like the politically forced agenda.
Yeah, exactly.
It reminded me of a lot of like
posters. There's like clearly a campaign going.
Yeah, the propaganda.
With this new Captain America. Yeah,
it reminded me a lot of like The Boys almost, where like Homelander's like the front for this like business corporation. Same thing with U.S. agent John Walker. He's kind of like the corporate face of the new Captain America and the government, and it's just like it's almost like a joke to them. But he's kind of a badass. He holds his own a little bit. He throws his shield.
He's definitely like, even he says like, oh, like this one thing I have is guts. Like, and he does that against these like
he's got balls. You see it.
The Flag Smashers, right? Their name is like he goes against these like 6 super powered super soldier serum like gang of people, and he goes with them without his shield. He's nasty with the shield, by the way.
He is, yeah.
He's got like the RT trigger and like the Captain America video game I got, where like it like automatically comes to him. Like, incredible. I'm wondering if they're gonna play into that in this show. Like, is there an agenda with this political thing? Because in the first episode, Sam Wilson gives up the shield, but clearly the politicians had other ideas. Because immediately, by the end of the episode, they have a new Captain America.
Which he debuted as Super Patriot. They're not even going to bother with that. They're going right into this guy. John Walker is going to be the new Captain America, which we know him from comics as U.S. agent.
But that's the thing, is like that makes me think like, oh, what was the intention? Because how long of time was it between Sam giving up the shield? They already had a costume made up. They already had like a whole like they had clearly like a print run of posters of Cap is back. So what is going on, below the surface politically? I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see the whole episode. I was like, where is Zemo? There's only 6 episodes. This has to be like way faster paced than WandaVision, and it definitely did deliver in this episode. By far the best flair of this show to me, the relationship between Bucky and Sam, that banter of like the
great
brothers at odds. Great acting in this episode. The brothers at odds, though, like we saw in the trailer the
staring contest,
but it was even funnier played out.
It actually played better in the show than the trailer. The trailer kind of felt like contrived a little bit, a little forced, but it plays so good in the show.
Because they're so like butting heads, but they have to come together by the end of the series to be like, okay, like we accept who we are, our roles in this legacy. And I really hope that Sam becomes Captain America, especially after that scene with the cops, so relevant in our day. Like the cops pull him over, like total racial profiling of like, oh, sir, is he bothering you? And they're buddies. Like,
with everything going on with Black Lives Matter and political stuff recently, like that's the beauty of Captain America.
Show. Yeah.
The beauty of Captain America as a character in comics and cartoons, whatever you want, pop culture, is that he can play into the relevance of politics at that time. The thing I loved about this episode is that you see like Isaiah shows up, and obviously between Isaiah, Sam, U.S. agent John Walker, and everything going on, it's like the military wants this ideal blonde-haired John Walker character to be the new Captain America, when there was a perfectly capable black man in Sam Wilson, who was one of Cap's best friends, who's been fighting alongside the Avengers for God knows how long in the MCU. So
even Isaiah Bradley, like you said, like he's very angsty. He's like angry. He's upset because it seems like he was suppressed. He was like, oh, like I was tortured. They asked for my blood. Like he was kind of like the lab rat, whereas Steve was like exonerated and like
the golden goose almost. Yeah. It's a lot of interesting stuff to delve into. Not just from a comic book standpoint, but from a human being standpoint. Was it 4 episodes left? I really think there's going to be a lot going on between like racial, social, political, and now they're even like going back to Zemo. Now they're bringing on Zemo as almost like a hero.
Like we're celebrating this guy,
which is crazy because Zemo is such a good villain in the comic books.
Well, he was kind of like their last resort. Bucky and Sam. They're kind of like working against this government faction of like John Walker and everything else. Like, all right, we have to turn to our only lead. Baron Zemo, he's obviously in jail. Last time we saw him was in Civil War. He was a Sokovian military leader. His family perished in the attacks with Ultron and the Avengers. So he blames the Avengers, and we see in the trailer, he says superhero, incredible voice, very comic booky. He's like, superheroes cannot be allowed to exist. And I love that because it is like I close my eyes and I see that character brought to life.
Yeah,
and I
he's a great actor.
I cannot wait to see Daniel Bruhl come to life.
Which is what pissed me off. We talked about this in the last episode. It pissed me off so much in Civil War is that they cast this amazing actor who's played a Nazi before.
Exactly. Like, he's the perfect character.
In Inglourious Basterds. He's a perfect casting for this Zemo character, and they did nothing with him. I wanted to see that comic accurate look. Now they're delving into it. It was in the concept art of Civil War. Now they're actually delving into it, and just the music and the build up to his character in the end of this episode was so regal and like epic that
glorious.
It's so good. Yeah, like Zemo is such a cool,
he's like very
ass
proper
villain. Yeah, like Captain America has a very underrated rogues gallery. A lot of cool ass villains.
And again, it's only 2 episodes in, but this is the second time, obviously, that this series ended, and I was like, wait, that's it? I was like, oh, come on. Like, they really know how to end on a cliffhanger.
This definitely felt longer, though.
This definitely, thank God, felt longer. Like, and
a lot more
eventful.
quality. A lot more quality.
More
script.
action. Yeah. It just ended on a cliffhanger, and obviously, I'm like, you got any more of those Marvel episodes? Like, I am dying to see what comes next, especially with Baron Zemo involved, because I was waiting for him once that like the Flag Smashers arrived in like Munich, Germany, or whatever. I was like, oh, like the guy was speaking like somewhat German and stuff, and she got this like, I think the girl's name is Lori, this like character that we don't know really what's going on. They seem to be like purposeful, but she gets this text message from like this random person like, I will kill you. I have a very special skill set, and I will find you. Maybe Liam Neeson's on the other line, but like I'm not sure. But I thought it was Zemo, but he's in jail, so unless he's got some strings pulled, but we'll see.
We're loving it. We hope you guys are loving it. Let us know in the comments below if you guys are liking the show. Do you like it more than WandaVision? Less than WandaVision? Let us know.
Anyways, that about wraps up today's episode of Twin Talk. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Comment below to join the discussion. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content. We'll see you next time. Peace!